Hi, I'm drinking a Wunderkammer beer or Wunderkammer beer. It's volume 9, Bufo Americanus. So, Wunderkammer is some brewing project that brews at Hill Farmstead and sometimes distributes to other places in Vermont. But this one is brewed with lichen, mushrooms, some sticks, and leaves, as well as other typical brewing materials, and fermented in an oak barrel. They say just an oak, so does that mean only one barrel? Kind of doubt it. But I don't know the alcohol content. I think it's kind of low because they've done a Bufo before Wunderkammer with basically the same ingredients. I guess this one just has different foraged ingredients. Just, not the exact same lichens and mushrooms, perhaps. And it sounds a lot like a Scratch beer. Scratch is in Southern Illinois, and they do only like wildy type ales with locally foraged ingredients. And I love some of their beers, and this sounds like it's right up my alley. I've only had one other mushroom beer before, I think. That was Satchmo from Smutty Nose, one of their like kind of ahead of the curve experimental beers. It was like a barrel fermented porter with mushrooms. This one has a lot of other stuff going on. Sticks and leaves. I've had beers brewed with leaves from Scratch Brewing before, but I've never tasted this. I haven't done a review of Wunderkammer. I did have their most recent one called Ghost Pipes, but that one wasn't super exciting because it was just made with their own locally grown hops. No kind of weird old Gruit ancient style ale ingredients. So this one, I think, actually, does it say it on there? No, it doesn't say when it was bottled, but I think it came out the last fall or early winter or something like that. And I am expecting something kind of exciting. And a cap that's hard to get off too. Here we go. And the bottle is it green? Yeah. Green bottles are extra authentic. You got a little bit of bubbles coming up to the neck. And pretty pale. Has an interesting kind of bronze color to it though. It doesn't remind me of a normal beer color. There's some tinge about it. I mean, it looks kind of just like a pale amber, but there's something weird about it that probably comes from these added ingredients. Yeah, lichen I've never had in a beer. Lichen is the weird, I don't even know if it's a fungus. I don't know exactly what it is, but lichen grows. It's like those weird little patches that grows on rocks that's kind of flat. It's not moss though. This beer looks really beautiful. Lots and lots of tiny bubbles rising up, and a pretty nice head considering how I expect this to be at least a little bit sour. Yeah, the barrel and the yeast is a little bit stronger than the added ingredients, I would say. One person's review of this on Untappd was just, what WTF, this tastes like the ground. And it smells only a little bit like the ground. Foresty, definitely woody. I think the sticks and leaves blends with the oaky quality pretty well. Touch of a sort of sweet cinnamon quality. It reminds me of a beer I had brewed with hay, another one from Vermont, from Good Measure. That was a cool beer they brewed with like what they called heirloom hay. And that was big on the hay notes, big on the added ingredient notes. This one is pretty much, from the aroma, it mostly seems like just a barrel fermented wild ale with some added weird things. Rather tart at first, lemony. But I do notice a lot of interesting sweet, spicy, earthy flavors that are unique unto this style of beer that kind of grew it locally foraged things. I am getting this kind of sweet cinnamon hay-like thing. It reminds me of that Good Measure beer. Not a lot of funk, definitely tannic, and it lingers with not quite pine. It's like dried out wood that it has lost all of its sap and moisture or something. I guess that's what leaves and sticks probably taste like. And I guess, I don't know, it's hard to pick up on mushroom because I often, in wild ales, get notes that I describe as mushroomy. But there's just a lot of earthy qualities in this that are hard to pin down. But yeah, this is a really nice beer. I enjoyed it a lot, and the carbonation, like the head and everything, is just like it's masterfully made and bottled. It's really, really, really a beautiful beer. I hope it's showing up on camera. Well, I should probably stop moving it around so much, though. That's something that I do too much, is move the bottles and the beers around so you can't get a look at them. I'll try to get better about that. And I would be surprised if this was much lower than 5%. Has a good amount of body. I do like that they used a touch of caramel malt or something in there. It does finish dry, but just a little bit of an extra sweet barley oomph works well with all these foresty flavors, I think. Brings us, I guess it's like a sweet nutty quality. The combination of a little bit of sweet barley and all these added foresty flavors. And I've had some scratch beers that are actually brewed, with nuts and nut shells and all that stuff. And I really love that combination of a sweet cinnamon, sweet nutty. I mean, it almost, maybe it tastes and reminds me of, like slightly sweet roasted nuts that you get, but not very sweet at all. It isn't a sugary sweetness. It's just, like that deep, toasted barley type sweetness. But the body is remarkably full. And the finish almost, it's not butterscotch, it's not like a diacetyl thing, but it just has a lot of these warm, toasty flavors. But at the same time, it's bright, lemony, tart. Only a little bit of an acetic heat is building up, and the lactic bite kind of fades really quickly. I find it really palatable. These kinds of beers are the ones that are really exciting to me. I used to, not be a huge fan of gruits, but a lot of breweries who make gruits, they look at it as like a clean beer that they're going to add a lot of weird ingredients to it. But when these ones are like wild ales, especially if they're using local yeast and they're using the local plants and even fungus from the area, that's a really exciting taste. Like this and Scratch, I think, are the only breweries that are focusing on that. Of course, this is more like a brewing project. It's not a Wunderkammer brewery. It's Hill Farmstead, but it's a great place to make these, because I think this one, at least in terms of overall quality, bottling, packaging, carbonation, conditioning, it's one of the better beers I've had with all these wild far out ingredients. I would give it close to 4.5. I really like this one. And if you like gruits and tart beers, wild ales, oak fermented beers with deep, nutty, sweet, earthy flavors, this is one for you. And it does it all in like a really elegant package. Very, very palatable. I drink a good amount right now and not have any acid reflux or anything. I'd highly recommend this one. Hopefully they'll do another Bufo. Since they've done two different ones, I bet they'll do something like this again. And I would highly recommend grabbing it if you see it anywhere. It was, I got this at I think it was actually at the beverage outlet or whatever in Stowe. And it was for the same price that it would have costed at Hill Farmstead. So Wunderkammer, look out for them. They're one of the breweries brewing projects that is really exciting me, and I would give this one close to like a 4 or 5. It's really, really fun and well done. Bye.